Okay, welcome back to another episode of Better Than I Found It, the podcast all things college golf. You're listening to Mike McGraw, the men's golf coach at Baylor University. My guest today on Better Than I Found It is former Sam Houston State golfer Bret Gray. Now, Bret isn't all that well known in the golf world, but I do love his story. He was a Texas born and raised kid who played multiple sports growing up. Undersized and under-recruited, he made his way to Sam Houston State to play for Coach Brant Kieschnick. In this episode, Bret talks about how he was able to develop his game into a competitive player while winning 3 events during his time at Sam Houston, while also leading the Bearcats to a conference championship his senior year. Bret stopped by Waco for this interview on his way to the Korn Ferry Tour School in Gunter, Texas. I hope you enjoy this podcast. Okay, Better Than I Found It listeners, join me in welcoming former Sam Houston State golfer Bret Gray to the podcast. Bret, really awesome of you to join me on Better Than I Found It today.
I'm excited to be here, Coach. I've looked forward to this since you asked me to be on the podcast.
Well, you know, the podcast has had a mixture of coaches, players, manufacturers, reps. It's had people all across the industry, but one of the unique parts, the stories that I love the most are people who most people would never have given a chance to be a player or didn't get enough attention, and you are that person. You grew up right under my nose. You were right here in Texas, and I had kids from your hometown come and play golf for me at Baylor. But we'll talk about a little bit of the reasons why you were under the radar and how that happened. But I love stories like that. Actually, as we speak, you're on your way to tour school this week, which you probably didn't expect would happen this quickly. Mm-hmm. Big week ahead. You're going to play the Korn Ferry Tour School up in Gunter, Texas. Tell me about a couple things, what you know about the golf course, what the dates are, and then how has your prep been leading up?
So, honestly, I've never been to the course before, so I'm looking forward to playing it. We've had a couple guys come through the SAM program that have played there before, and they kind of gave me a few tips and told me that it's a really good course and I should do well there. The tournament starts on the 24th, and it's 3 rounds, so it's the 24th through the 26th. And my prep has been about as good as it could be. I'm still working 35, 40 hours a week at Houston Oaks for my internship, but I'm making the most of it. I'm practicing as much as I can before my closing shifts at work, and then on my days off, I'm trying to get out and play with some of the guys from the Sam Houston team and just trying to make the most of my time.
Well, you know, I remember going to tour school first time back in 1982. That's a long time ago. But I remember I was working at Kickingbird Golf Course in Edmond, Oklahoma, trying to make that way. And I was saving money up to go to tour school. And I do have a story about that in a bit. But so it is a challenge leading up to it. But it sounds like to me you feel pretty good about your prep so far.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, 100%.
I wasn't worried. I wasn't aware that it was a 3-rounder. This is a pre-qualifier, right?
Yes, correct.
I always thought the pre was 4 rounds as well. But I have a player, Zach Heffernan, whom you know is going up there. In fact, he practiced here yesterday and is driving up now as we speak. So you'll see Zach up there. Do you know Zach very well?
I've played in a few tournaments with him in junior golf.
Yeah.
And then got to play with him a little bit more in college, and we would talk a little bit on the golf course.
He's like you. He's a hunter and fisherman. He loves it.
I know. We talked about fishing a few times during some tournament rounds for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely. Zach is an outdoorsman deluxe, no doubt about it. And we'll talk more about that as well a little later. So, you know, I think your story from recruiting to graduation, which happened last May, your story from recruiting to graduation is a very interesting one. And as I said, inspiring to me how a guy that most people wouldn't have picked to actually have a great college career did. So I want to find out how you did that. But before we do that, I'd like to know how you got into the game. Like, who were your biggest influences? And then we'll talk about other sports you may have played as well as a kid. So who got you in the game?
My biggest influence has to be my dad. My dad played golf all the time when I was a little kid, and he would take me out to the golf course as much as he could, which that was awesome of him to do because, I mean, a lot of dads just want to go out there and enjoy their weekends off and have fun with their buddies, but he would always drag me along because he knew I loved it. And
what course?
So I grew up playing Olympia Hills.
Oh, yeah, I know.
In Universal City,
know
Texas.
exactly where that is.
Yep, we played there all the time, and anytime we'd go on a vacation, I'd always pack my little junior set of clubs and go hit the ball around the course, and eventually I just took a really big liking to it, and eventually ended up dropping all the other sports I played as a kid.
What were those?
For golf. So when I was growing up, I played a little bit of everything, football, track, basketball. Baseball was my biggest sport besides golf, and I actually bowled a little bit too.
Bowled? What was your highest game?
Yes, I have 2 300s.
Do you
two
really?
perfect games.
Could you
Yes.
still bowl a 300 today?
I
mean, you're in the 200s for sure?
Yes. So, funny story is my sophomore year of high school, our high school had a bowling team.
No.
Yes.
What high school? Remind me.
Samuel Clemens. It's in Church, Texas, or 6A. And believe it or not, we had a bowling team. And I won the state bowling championship
No, you didn't.
as a sophomore.
Did you really?
Yes. So I've got the 6A state title in my house back home from bowling, of all things.
I truly didn't know that about you. Coach Kieschnick never told me. You're a college coach. You never told me you were bowling.
Oh, yeah.
So you were the state bowling champion. You've had
Yes.
2 300s. Okay.
Yes.
All right. There's when I was a kid, there wasn't a lot of sports on television. And so you just, whatever was on TV, you watched. And pro bowling was on every Saturday of my youth growing up.
Yep.
And I remember watching Earl Anthony and Weber and a few other guys that were these legends bowling. But it's such a unique crowd.
It is.
Bowlers are unique.
Because my dad would always bowl a lot too, so he taught me how to bowl as well. And that was just something that I did throughout high school.
Are there parallels between bowling and golf?
Yes, because there's a lot of mental in bowling as well. Because, you can throw good shots in bowling and end up with a split, and you're like, man, I thought it was better than that. And the same thing with golf. There's definitely a lot of parallels between the two that you wouldn't
What about start lines in bowling? You got to start it. Is that a thing or not?
Oh, 100%. If you don't hit your mark in bowling, you're not gonna strike. So definitely have to hit your start lines in bowling.
What position did you play in baseball?
Baseball, I'm a lefty, so I played first base, was a pitcher, played center field.
Did you throw an 80 as a kid?
I didn't play baseball long enough to throw an 80. I think I stopped playing baseball around like 13. So I wasn't throwing it that hard. I was a small guy, but I
change up. I bet.
I was very accurate. Yeah. So that was how I was a really good pitcher. Is I was very accurate with my stuff.
So how much of all that I didn't know about bowling, but all these other sports you played, how much of that made you a better golfer, and what types of ways did being an athlete make you a better golfer?
I think that there's a lot. You pick up a little bit on every sport you play. I think baseball helped me the most with really being a good team player, especially for high school golf and college golf. And I also got my speed, the speed that I had, or the speed that I have. I don't have a whole lot, but I got the speed I have from baseball. Baseball just basically taught me how to be a better athlete and use my body more. And,
10 years ago when you were still playing baseball, did you think you were going to be at tour school in the fall of 25?
That was my dream. I didn't necessarily know if it would happen, but I'm glad that it did.
Absolutely. Well, I wasn't much of an athlete. I had foot speed. I could run, but I couldn't jump, catch, throw, hit. There was nothing else I could do that you do in athletic endeavors, and I was not a good bowler. I think my highest is 130, and I've only bowled 7 or 8 times in my life. So I bow to you and your athleticism that I didn't have. Let's talk about your recruiting process.
Yeah.
I saw you at several junior events, some before COVID, some after, some before you committed to Sam Houston, some after. You were a little undersized, a solid little player, but you weren't very big. You're taller than I am now, which is I wasn't prepared for that. Why did so many coaches in the state of Texas miss on you, and what did we miss? Like, what did we miss because of that?
I wasn't the longest player in junior golf. I didn't play in a whole lot of, or I didn't play in any national tournaments, just because I was a little unfamiliar with the recruiting process in general, because none of my parents played college sports or golf, much less, and I didn't have any coaches. I've never had a swing coach besides my dad, so I didn't really have anybody to help me along that path. So I just played in all the TJGTs and the STPGA Prestige Tours, and I played in a few Legends events, and never even tried to sign up for a U.S. Junior. I didn't even know what a U.S. Junior was. So yeah, I really just played a lot of the smaller tournaments, and I think that's how I ended up getting a lot of confidence too, was playing in those tournaments and knowing that I can compete with these kids and beat these kids. And
so you won a lot of junior events. They were lower level, but
yes,
you won a lot.
Yes,
yeah.
Correct.
No swing coach.
No,
that's
no
music
coach
to my ears, and I have nothing against swing coaches, but to see somebody in the modern day progress in the game without a swing coach, why was that an advantage for you? Why was it not a disadvantage?
Well, I think it just helped me kind of understand my golf game more. My dad kind of taught me the fundamentals of the game, and after that, I really just played a lot of golf and learned how to shape the shots, learned how to get it out of the trees. I just learned from playing golf, honestly.
You know, that rubs against the grain nowadays.
It does for sure. There's a lot of people that just hit balls in the driving range all day, and I'm not a very big guy on that. I love to play golf because I feel when you're out on the golf course, you get so many more different lies and winds and conditions than you do on the range.
Last time I checked, this tour school you're getting ready to go to, they're not playing it in a video screen.
Exactly.
And if you're a perfect guy on playing, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
What matters is how you play this week when you play a competitive. I'm not against swing instruction at all. I'm truly not. But when a player in the modern day actually says, I'm going to do this, and there's going to be, let's say you get through tour school. Let's say you get on the Corn Ferry. Let's say you're progressing on the Corn Ferry in a year and you're playing great. You do realize that there's going to be people trolling up and down that driving range tee.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you work with? Well, I've just really worked with my dad. I kind of do this on my own. Well, they're not going to accept that.
Mm-hmm.
That a human being could actually improve in the game of golf without a forced swing coach. Now, am I against a swing coach? I don't, not at all. But do you have to have one? No, you don't. So am I right or wrong here? I mean, coming from you, probably.
I think you're right. I think I learned so much on my own and just by trial and error, basically. And it helped me understand my game better. And Coach K, I'll talk about it a little bit later, but I mean, he really just helped me understand my golf swing and why I am good and to swing it the way that I swing it and the results that I'm going to see. And he just really helped me understand my swing a lot better. And I think that's one of the reasons why I developed so much in college.
That's another reason he is one of my favorite coaches. He doesn't force his will on a player regarding swing instruction or just how you play the game. He lets you come to your best golf, and he helps you, guide you, which I think is great.
Exactly.
But I do think it's valuable to know that a guy can still become a good player, sort of doing it his own way. And there's never been a college coach or a swing coach or a nutritionist or a mental coach that's ever hit a golf shot for a player. And
Exactly.
You've got a golf swing that repeats itself. I've watched it. It's very, very simple. Could you use more speed? Yes, I bet you will get more speed as time goes by. But the main thing is you trust your golf swing, you own it, it repeats itself, and you can trust it under pressure, which is really the only thing that matters with a golf swing. Does it perform when the heat is on? If it doesn't perform when the heat is on, it's not a good golf swing. That's a fact. Because if it can't produce good golf shots, it must not be a good golf swing. Jim Furyk, I've said this time and time again, he had one of the best golf swings in pro golf because he believed it. He trusted it. It repeated itself. And people would say, well, that's a stupid statement. Look at that golf swing. To the eye, your golf swing's a lot better than Jim Furyk's. But apparently his must be pretty good too.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So swing coach, we got that out of the way. And I see what we were missing. What we were missing probably was something we couldn't see anyway. And Brant told me he was a little bit fortunate on two accounts. One, you came to his golf camp at age 16. So you're already pretty far along to come to a golf camp.
Exactly, yes.
You were probably way better than anybody else at that camp, I would say. Yeah. But he described you as a very average player. That's what he said. And he said, I'll read what he said in this when I asked him about you a little bit more. He said, I've never seen anybody, even though I've described him as an average player, I've never seen anybody improve as much as he did the last 2 years in high school. under-the-radar kid that became great. I got a little lucky because during COVID, no coaches could really watch him play a lot of junior golf. And I'm just thinking, so what? You got a little bit of lucky. He did believe in you, but when you were an average player, and he gave you an offer to come to Sam Houston, what exactly do you think helped you develop during that 2-year stretch from 16 to 18?
I think a little bit of it was that I grew a little bit during that time frame and got a little bit more distance on my side. And going to that golf camp at Sam Houston was honestly huge for me because Coach kind of helped walk through all the campers kind of how to practice efficiently and kind of what their college players practice every single day. And I think hearing that from him helped me practice those next 2 years and really focus on practicing the right things because when I was younger, I would just hit a lot of golf balls. I'd just beat balls on the range and go play golf and not really practice with as much of a purpose as I did those last 2 years of high school, thanks to Coach K giving me a few tips.
Well, and you think about it, what if you'd gone to another camp? What if and maybe it would have been a great story as well, but you went there, you listened to what he had to say. He told me always one of your best qualities was you were very coachable, and you tried to be your best every day, he said, which I think is great. He did say some other qualities that you had that I liked, and this is lending toward why you had such steady upward trending progress in college. Your work ethic was unmatched, so he felt like you were a great worker at the game. You have a competitive gene that not every player he had has. Your self-belief is very high. Where'd you get that self-belief?
Oh, man, that self-belief really came from, honestly, I really developed a lot of self-belief my freshman year of college. Whenever I first got there, I qualified for my first tournament. I think I finished third in qualifying as a freshman. Ended up playing really good that week, and that kind of helped me kind of understand, like, hey, like I can compete on this Division I college stage. I was able to qualify for a tournament as a freshman and play really solid in a decent field. That kind of got me kick-started. And then freshman year when I ended up winning the All-American in Houston, that was like, okay, like I know what it takes to win now. And this field had some Power 5 schools in it.
We were there.
Y'all were there,
yeah,
yes.
We didn't play well, but we were there.
And winning that tournament really helped me kind of understand, like, okay, I know that I have what it takes to compete with these guys out here. I may not be the biggest or the fastest, but I know how to play my game to the best of my ability to compete and win on this stage.
So that's really good that you said that. But talk about the qualifying, because Coach Kieschnick said, hey, it was a qualifying for an Indy spot, correct?
Yes, I was an individual that week.
You were the individual that week, and your first tournament you won in college, it was as an individual, and you barely got the spot.
Yes.
You know, if he didn't have the individual spot available, you wouldn't even have played in that tournament.
Right.
So there's a special skill that I call seizing opportunity, and I don't know that I always had it. And I've seen players that do have it. It's like, okay, there's my opportunity. Seize it. I'm going to go get it. So did you look at winning that qualifying spot to play as an individual? Okay, now I've got my chance. Mm-hmm. And if you did, how were you able to take advantage of that and play your best golf?
100%, because starting off that spring semester, I missed the first two tournaments after playing all of them in the fall as a freshman. And I played the next tournament at Lafayette in Louisiana. Didn't play great, so I figured I was going to be out of the lineup again, and really just wasn't playing up to my potential. That I knew I was playing great. I just wasn't scoring, and we went and played an early practice round at Golf Club of Houston about a week and a half, 2 weeks before the tournament, and I thought Coach was really high on taking my roommate over me for the individual spot. But then we went out for that practice round, and my roommate didn't play very good, and I think I shot 1 or 2 under, and I think that kind of flipped a switch in Coach's mind, like, hey, maybe we should give Bret another chance here. So then he still couldn't really decide, so he had me and my roommate go play 9 holes at Bearcat course a couple days before we left for the tournament. And me and my roommate were all tied going into hole 9 at Bearcat course. It's a par 5. So we both hit in the fairway, both went for the green. I missed it long left, which is not where you want to miss it, to a back right pin on that hole. My roommate hit it on the green, probably about 35, 40 feet. I end up holing that chip for eagle. My buddy, 2 putts for birdie. I win by 1. I get to go to the tournament.
Wow.
And then whenever I ended up making that spot and going to the tournament, I was like, okay, like this is my chance to really prove to coach, like I need to be in this lineup. Like I'm going to make sure I make the most of this opportunity to where I'm not ever out of the lineup again. And that's exactly what happened. I putted lights out that tournament and ended up winning the thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. And then obviously at that point, now you know you can win a college golf tournament, a Division I tournament with some good teams. Now the self-belief really kicks in. It's like, okay, maybe I can do this. I can do this for sure. You weren't the longest player, as you've already described. How were you able to maximize other parts of your game that needed to be maximized for you? I talked to Scott Verplank when I was at Oklahoma State numerous times. He averaged about 250 or 55 off the tee. One of the shortest players on tour, very accurate, incredible putter, always knew where the ball wasn't going to go. He didn't always know where it was going, but he knew where it wouldn't go. And he maximized everything else because he had to. And not very many people know this. He played in 2 straight President's Cups and 2 straight Ryder Cups. In those 4 international competitions, he was the best American record, period.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's got an amazing international record as far as teams. But he maximized everything. How is Brett Gray copying that model? What do you do?
You know, Coach K kind of helped me with that as well. He helped me understand how to miss the ball good. And I played a draw, so I would never miss the ball left. It's like if I'm going to miss it, it's going to be right, since I'm a lefty. And I think just understanding my game and learning how to play to my misses and pick good targets going into greens with that shot shape. And also I developed my putting a lot in college and learned how to be a really good putter because I didn't have distance on my side. So I needed to learn how to make some 20-footers because I was going to have some longer clubs into these greens. And just being really accurate, too, with my iron play was huge. And wedges. Wedges I really needed to take advantage of when I got them because I didn't get a whole lot of them. So, yeah, wedges, putting, and then picking good targets for my draw.
Well, you know, it's funny you say picking good targets for your draw. So I've heard kids, let's say a lefty, and the pin is cut back left. It's not a pin that fits your eye beautifully, but you're not going to go against your shot shape. You're going to hit your shot shape, start it at the flag, and cut it to 20, or draw it to 20 feet right of the flag, correct?
Correct.
Well, but see, that goes against the grain. Everybody thinks, well, I think I'll just work a little cut back into that flag. That's not your shot shape. Why would you do that?
Nope, it's not what you're comfortable hitting. I don't know why people try to hit it.
Well, and I've never understood, well, I haven't for a long time understood why. Well, it doesn't fit my eye. Well, make it fit your eye. You know, it's not the course's job, as Jack Nicklaus once said, it's not the course's job to fit your eye. It's your job to fit your game to the golf course. So for a back left pin for a lefty, no, that's not the perfect golf shot. But he aims over there at the flag and just draws it right to the center of the green. I don't know. It's a pretty simple concept, but it's very, very hard to do. And Coach Kieschnick got you to understand what I try to get players to understand all the time. Why would you go against your natural shot shape? You're just cutting it or drawing it to a spot. That's
and then if it happens to go straight, you got to go look at birdie.
Tap in, yeah, you got to tap in. But that's anyway. So that's good. I'm glad you were able to maximize those things. It probably gives you a chance to play professional golf because you understand that concept.
Right.
What are the qualities that make Coach Kieschnick a great coach? I know a bunch because he and I talk a lot. We talk a lot during the year. We have, we always at tournaments, we talk and ask each other questions. So I think I know. What do you think made him a great coach?
There's 2 that really stick out to me. And number 1 is helping me understand my golf game. That was huge for me as a player because in high school, I would hit the ball really, really good, but I didn't score really good. And he kind of helped me understand my golf game and how I can score better. And I touched on that with targets and wedges and putting. And that's me. That's how I'm going to play good golf. And the second thing is he knows how to coach a player when they need to be coached, and he's able to coach different players different ways based on their needs. I was a guy that, I had a lot of competitive energy in me, and I liked whenever he gave me some tough love sometimes. And sometimes the conversations weren't always great, but it's what I needed to hear in order to fire me up and get better. And some guys were more some guys just weren't as competitive as I were, and they needed a little bit of a softer speaking to, but I needed that fire lit inside me, and he did a good job of coaching me how I wanted to be coached.
Yeah, I think that's an underrated thing. The players need to also look to their coach and say, hey, listen, this is the way I learned. This is the way I want you to coach me hard. Let's make this happen. But not everybody can do that because it's some uncomfortable moments.
For sure.
And I think that friction in relationships eventually forges something really great. Eventually. You have to have some friction. I can't always pat you on the back, Bret.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to force it.
There was some tough conversations, and sometimes, there would even be a tear shed on my end because, it was hard. It was hard to hear from my coach, but I needed to hear it at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think because it's feels confrontational, sometimes coaches shy away from it. Mm-hmm. And if I've had a weakness through the years, it'd be sometimes shying away from the tough, hard conversation. I've got a great assistant coach, Ryan Murphy, right now, who encourages me to do the opposite because he knows one of my strengths is telling a guy the truth, but I need to do that in a heartfelt way, but also in a way to benefit him for his improvement. And I know Coach Kieschnick, those two qualities don't surprise me that you would put those out
Yep.
as qualities that make him great. One goal for most coaches is to have every player develop a true love for their school because, we are individuals as junior golfers. And so you're kind of out on that island. It's me. I'm Bret Gray, and I'm the golfer. When you get to school, you get to your university, you're now Bret Gray, the Bearcat.
Yes.
Okay, so what was the greatest thing to you? There was a lot of great things about playing for Coach Kieschnick and being at Sam Houston State and being a Bearcat. What's the best thing you can recall?
Oh, man, the best thing for me was just the relationships that I built and the people that I met there. Coach K will be a lifelong friend of mine, and I'm always going to go to him for certain advice, and I think that was a very valuable person to meet in my life. And there's a lot of good people that I've met at Sam Houston. My assistant coach, my second 2 years in my sophomore and junior year, Coach Lake LaRue was huge for me. He was the assistant, and he was like my caddy in golf tournaments. He would walk with me every single hole and just kind of give me that second opinion that I needed, that extra assurance that I was doing the right stuff. And Lake is a great guy. He's a huge believer, and he is somebody that I thank a lot for my success in college. Because if it wasn't for him on my bag for 2 years straight in college, those were my best 2 years in college, arguably, and I think it was hugely attributed to him being there for me.
Yeah, I walked a couple of those rounds with you, with Lake along on the bag. He's a great young coach, and his dad, Mark, who coached forever at Missouri, is a wonderful coach as well. But you talk about coaching. There's a difference between teaching a golf swing and coaching. Mm-hmm. And coaching is harder because you're invested mentally, spiritually, you're invested in this player. I think that's what the distinction needs to be made. Coaching is about changing lives.
Yes.
It's about redirecting a kid's thinking process if he's going the wrong way. It's about changing the trajectory of what he's doing. And you have described two coaches that did that very thing for you.
Yes. Greatly did that for me. Completely changed the way I think about golf and the way I think about life, honestly. Mm-hmm. Whenever I finished my final putt at regionals, I literally cried because it was so emotional. They were both right there for me.
I remember Bob Tway, whose son Kevin played for me at Oklahoma State. Bob played for Mike Holder for 4 years, and Bob was a College Player of the Year, Fred Haskins Award winner. Great, amazing player in college. He had some friction with Coach Holder, and there was a time they actually had a wrestling match on a first tee of the final round of a golf tournament.
Wow.
And Mike Holder did some damage to Bob. And that story is legendary, and I'm sure it's taken all sorts of forms through the years. But the truth is there was some confrontation between the two. And Bob Tway described one time of walking up the 72nd hole at the national championship. It'll be the last time he ever walked up a fairway with Mike Holder, and they both got emotional. And you would think, well, wait, there was a separation there. No, there was a togetherness there, meaning it was like we went through 4 pretty hard years together, and that man helped get me more ready for professional golf, and I had a great experience here. And Bob always told me he would trade any one of his PGA Tour victories for one more NCAA championship in a heartbeat. That was how important his relationship was with Oklahoma State and Mike Holder and just the whole experience.
Yeah, college golf is a special experience for sure.
It really is, isn't it? It doesn't matter if you're playing at Sam Houston or Oklahoma State or Kalamazoo State, or it doesn't matter where you're playing.
It does not matter.
It's very, very special. As you developed into a better player at Sam Houston, because you came in as an unheralded, under-the-radar guy and sort of started developing your game, now all of a sudden you've won a golf tournament or 2 in college, and there's no doubt about it, the modern-day phenomenon, the transfer portal, what kept you from getting your name, putting your name in the transfer portal and going and testing the waters to see if you could get at a higher-ranked team, even though Sam Houston's an extremely competitive mid-major golf team? What kept you from getting in the portal?
I think it goes back to those relationships that I built at Sam Houston. I think if I go put my name in the transfer portal, those relationships go away, and I get looked at from Sam Houston as just another guy that just wanted them as a free ride to go play somewhere else. And I'm big on loyalty, and I think that staying at Sam Houston and keeping those relationships alive, and knowing that if I stay at Sam Houston, I'm going to be able to play every single event. My last 2 years was also huge for me, because if I was to transfer to another bigger school, I may not have had the opportunity to play in every single event as the team captain, as the number 1 player. And I think that those experiences were valuable to me, and I really just owed a lot to Coach K, I felt, because he was the one coach that gave me a chance out of high school to go play college golf. And I could not just go against him and end up leaving his school. That's just not in my DNA. And I just felt that I owed it to Coach to stay there. Well,
you're a Bearcat forever, yes. And you're always going to be welcome in that golf facility there at the golf course. Yes. He'll probably have you come back and talk to the guys, play with them. You said you've played some with them this fall already. So your legacy is at Sam Houston. That's where it was created, and it'll always be that way. Like William Holcomb, when I had him on this podcast, his is a really cool story too, by the way. But William, he's always going to be a Bearcat, and everybody who's ever played there that got it to the finish line is. That's probably the part about the portal that's a little confusing to me. I get an opportunity to better yourself, or PGA Tour University, or all of that stuff. Right. I get that, but I'm not thrilled by it. If you had transferred to, let's say, XYZ University for what appeared to be a better opportunity, would you be a Sam Houston golfer, or would you be an XYZ University golfer? Which one are you really? Right. You're a mercenary when you go to the next school. And I'm not criticizing anybody who transfers for whatever reason, because I don't know anybody's situation. But for you, it meant a lot to stay at a place that gave you your opportunity.
Yes.
Wonderful. I love hearing that. Now, we talked about you being under recruited, maybe not noticed. There's a lot of great collegiate golf teams in the state of Texas. University of Texas, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, SMU, TCU, Baylor. We go down the list. There's a lot of really good Division I teams. Sam Houston is a Division I team. But you ended up at Sam Houston, maybe the only school that actually gave you an opportunity and believed in you.
Yes, sir.
Did you ever play with a chip on your shoulder? And if so, how did you use it to your advantage in a positive way?
I think in my first year or two in college, for sure, just because kind of like, hey, like I'm going to go out here and prove myself and prove to all these coaches and teams that, like, hey, there are kids out there that kind of go a little bit under the radar. They don't necessarily have the time and the funding to go travel across the nation and play in all of these AJGAs and U.S. juniors and these kinds of tournaments. And it just kind of lit a fire under me, like, hey, I'm going to go prove that, I can still do this thing just because I didn't come from the most the greatest background or have all these accolades in junior golf doesn't mean that in college golf I can't go out there and beat these people and compete for championships.
Did you win twice in college? 2 or 3 times? Twice?
I won 3 times.
3 times. So you're obviously able to succeed at that level, and your goal now is to get to even a higher level, right? Mm-hmm. And do you think you'll always have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, meaning I came from a little more modest golf background?
For sure.
Because you did. You weren't in an academy. Mm-hmm. You didn't play all these national junior tournaments. I encourage kids that have a chip on their shoulder to use it in a positive way, because it can be that way. To me, it's really, really important. Pretty impressive what you've been able to do in a positive way. But you've been working since graduation in May and since finishing at Sam Houston on your PGA Club Professional certification. You've said earlier you've done that at Houston Oaks. You've worked a lot of hours. It really does require a time commitment to become a PGA Club professional. It's not easy.
100%.
Who encouraged you to go to tour school? How did that whole process happen? I think it was members that might have encouraged you. Go ahead.
Yes, so I really wasn't planning on playing Q School this year just because I am working a lot of hours at Houston Oaks, and I was going to spend my last few months doing that and then go ahead and play a full season of pro golf and Q School next year. But I played in the State Open this summer. I qualified for that.
What'd you finish?
I finished 7th in the State Open. Mm-hmm. I shot 15 under for the week, and I think I had the fewest amount of bogeys in the field, and working full time. That was a huge, okay, wow, I can really compete with these pro golfers out here, and even working so much, I'm still able to do it. And the members at Houston Oaks saw that, and they were like, hey, we need to get you to Q School. We need to help get you there because we want to see you go play this year, and we'd love to support you. So they ended up getting some funds together for me to go play Q School, and I signed up for it, and here I am on my way.
That's a great thing. Those guys who helped get you to this first tour school really hope that you end up playing professional golf on the tour one day, because they'll always be able to say, I was in the process. I got that guy's start. I was there.
Right.
Which is cool. But we all need help. we can't get there by ourselves, right?
Yes, 100%.
We all need help. But that's really cool that you were able to carve out some time. Funny story, when I was an assistant pro at age 20, I was 25, maybe 24. And I was working at Kicking Bird Golf Course in Edmond, Oklahoma for Art Proctor, a great guy. But we hosted the Oklahoma Open Championship, and every year it had 4 or 5 PGA Tour players. Mm-hmm. It had 10 or 15 mini tour players, Korn Ferry event players. So it was a great State Open at the time. But we hosted, so I qualified and got in, and I remember I was still working for Art Proctor at Kicking Bird. We're running the State Open, and I remember I'm pulling out carts out of the cart barn. And you pull them out, you're facing the 10th tee, and that's where I was going to tee off. And I'm pulling out a cart, and I park it, and I hear all of a sudden a 10-minute call for the 8:23 tee time, Mike McGraw, Jim Smith, and whatever. And I'm thinking, wait a second, I don't have any golf shoes on yet. Luckily, the range was 20 feet away. I hit about 3 or 4 balls and played. But it's a commitment to be working as a PGA Club professional and try to play competitively. It's not ideal. And I will throw out some golf trivia. The last PGA Club professional in my knowledge here to play in all 4 majors was Jimmy Wright, who played golf at Oklahoma State. He was a club professional in the late 60s, early 70s. He finished 4th in the 1969 PGA Championship.
Wow.
It was won at the National Cash Register Club by Ray Floyd. That 4th place finish got him in all 4 majors the next year. So he was the last club professional to compete in all 4 majors and qualify that year. But that's just it. Not easy to do, and even just to get ready for tour school was not easy. So that was great. Got to be thankful for those members that have sent you on this path.
Oh, it was a huge blessing for sure.
That's wonderful. Okay, Rumor has it you're the world's slowest eater. And a well-known fact is I'm one of the fastest eaters in the world. So if I couldn't have coached you, we never would have eaten a meal together. I would be done and leaving the table, and you'd just be starting. Just be starting. So why are you eating so slow? Why do you do that?
I honestly have no idea. I like to just tell people that I like to actually enjoy my meals, but I really don't know where I get it from. I've just always been kind of a slow eater.
How many kids in your family?
Just me and my older brother.
See, you weren't fighting for food. I had seven kids in my family. We were fighting for food. So
no, we weren't fighting.
Maybe that's how I learned to do it. I know you have a great love of hunting and fishing. I just graduated player Zach Heffernan, who will be at Gunter this week competing with you at the tour school. He was a great hunter and fisher. He loved hunting, fishing, and you yourself said in tournaments, you and Zach would talk about it. But you remind me of a kid named Chandler Phillips, who's playing the PGA Tour from... he's from the
from Huntsville.
Area, so he played golf at Whispering Pines. But I think he loves hunting and fishing as much as he loves golfing. So you're a hunter and fisherman.
Yes,
it's part of you're an outdoors guy. Coach Kieschnick wanted me to ask this question before we finish. Choose one: land a 12-pound bass, a big, large, just a huge bass. 12-pounder, that's gargantuan.
Yes.
Or make a putt to win a golf tournament. Which one are you choosing? Ouch! Well, I thought this would be right away.
I honestly think it honestly would depend on the golf tournament. It would depend on the tournament. I think if it's a
big professional event,
a career-changing tournament like a major championship, or my first win on the PGA Tour or Korn Ferry Tour or something along that line, I would have to pick making the putt to win the tournament. But if it's just a regular old tournament where I've already got a few in the bag, then I'm going to have to go with the 12-pound bass if I haven't had one by then.
That 12-pounder is going to go to the taxidermist. I mean, that's on the wall.
100%. It's going in
What's
the
the biggest
cave.
fish you ever caught?
Biggest fish? Ooh.
Bass.
Biggest bass. I've caught a couple 6.5 pounders. I fish a lot of lakes, so it's tough. It's tough to find them, but they were both in tournaments too. I fish a few tournaments with my girlfriend's dad. He's a big tournament bass fisherman, so that's a good thing too. So they were both in tournaments, but 6.5 pounders. I've caught 2 of them. Haven't caught anything bigger than that. I've had one on that was bigger than that, but I lost it.
Everybody says that.
Yep, right at the boat, of course.
Of course. So you had a dream of being in the Bass Masters as well?
Okay. I love tournament bass fishing. It's so much fun.
All right. So if it was a really, really important tournament to advance your career, you're still going to take the putt over a fish.
Yes.
That's good. I was hoping I wouldn't have to change your mind on that one. Earlier we talked about you being under-recruited. We've talked about that. It's been a theme of this podcast. What's your best advice for a young man, especially with the modern-day roster cuts and the way the 25, 26, and 27 classes are being affected by less opportunities? What would you say to that kid, given the best advice about not feeling so stressed about being under-recruited?
I think they should just send out as many emails as possible. That was one thing I did not do, which looking back on it, I probably should have done. Scores will take care of a lot. I think if you're posting good scores and putting good rounds together, coaches are going to kind of pick up on that and notice. Just really sticking to your golf game and playing good golf and let the results come to you. I think part of my struggles in high school was I was trying to push too hard. I almost wanted it too much, and I would get kind of frustrated on the golf course when I'd hit a bad shot because it meant that much to me. So just kind of, relaxing a little bit and understanding that if you play your game, things are going to work out for the best.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's really good advice, and it did work out for the best for you.
Exactly.
Thanks again, Bret, for joining me today on Better Than I Found It. It's a really cool story. I hope it becomes a really cool story when you play professional golf one day and I can look back and say, well, I was in that long line of coaches that said, golly, I wish I'd have gotten that kid. And Brent Kieschnick did. He's a smart guy. But anyway, congratulations on everything that's happened so far, and best of luck this week at Gunter, Texas.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks.